What up, YouTube? Yeah, you know who it is. You know who it is. If you don't, it's your boy Shake. So shout out to the Shake Squad. Naughty Gang stand up. It's your boy Shake. Check this out. I'm normally a gameplay only kind of guy. I don't really talk about screenshots and graphics and things like that. But about a week ago, I put out a tweet talking about how I thought Jayson Tatum looked so much better in 2K19 than he did in 2K18. And a lot of the responses was that he looks the same. Like, it doesn't look any different. The graphics don't look any better. And again, I'm not big on graphics. I'm mostly a gameplay kind of guy. But a lot of people want to see those improvements. They want to see improvements down to the finest details. And usually the first thing you notice when a new game comes out is how much different it looks. And games like Madden Football tends to get a bad rep because it doesn't look that much different from the previous year. So I took the time to break down some of these images. It's not something I normally do, but I want you to take a look at some of these pictures and see for yourself. Tell me if you think that the graphics look like they've improved. So we're gonna go through these pretty quickly because most of you guys have already seen these before, but maybe not in such stark contrast. Like, usually when you go buy a new TV, you can't really see how much better it is than the TV you currently have unless you put them right next to each other. It's only right that I kick this off with the Jayson Tatum image because that's what sparked this conversation and inspired this video. I've made no color correction improvements to either images. I just took these screenshots trying to do one that was very similar to the newer updated 2K19 images. Off rip, the first thing you notice is that the lighting and shading have greatly improved in NBA 2K19. Now, I have to be very careful about using the word improved because a lot of this could be a return to greatness, especially when you consider how great the lighting and shading was in NBA 2K14. Now we take a quick look at LeBron James. And as you can see, his color, his skin tone looks a lot more realistic. And NBA 2K18's graphics weren't noticeably that bad. But now when you compare them to 2K19, you can definitely see a big difference. I did a video earlier this year where I talk about how 2K is known for taking out good features, great qualities that are known for the series, and, you know, putting in some other stuff that we didn't ask for, and then eventually returning those features or returning those qualities, and we get so hype about it, but we forget that these are just old features or old qualities. And in this case, the lighting and shading looks very, very similar to 2K14. Whatever they did right then, they're definitely bringing it back. As you look at Anthony Davis, you can tell on the left in 2K18, his skin tone, his skin, it all looks kind of rubbery or plastic and lifeless, as opposed to 2K19 where his skin tone looks more fleshed out and lifelike. And now we have Antetokounmpo, and he tends to have a scowl on his face a lot, especially after he's dunking on people or, you know, his aggression shows. And if you look closely at his face, you can see the ripples on his forehead and in his nose and then around his face and his eyes. It's obvious 2K is improving on facial expressions and emotion this year. Now, as we take a look at Demarcus Cousins, it's easy to say that all we have to do is increase the contrast in 2K18 and you'll get that 2K19 look. But anybody who mods 2K on the PC knows that there's a lot more to this. It's the finer details. Look at the anger in Demarcus Cousins' face, the sweat, the way it looks. His tattoos seem to stand or pop out more, and they tend to look a little bit more realistic. And now Demar Derozan. In my opinion, it's not so much of a graphics update as much as it is a return to better shading. Obviously, they're adding in more emotion with the details. But when we look at Demar Derozan, he looks so good in 2K18 already. The only noticeable difference is the shading, the lighting, the skin tone. So he looks pretty much the same, but those factors make him look a lot better. So as we look at Ben Simmons, let me know in the comment section, do you guys feel like better shading and lighting is all they really need, or do you feel like 2K needs an entire graphical overhaul? Like they need to change everything and make the game look a lot better? I at least feel like my players need to look as ripped or as muscular as some of the real players in the game. I feel like we need more body types, so they need to scan in more body types for us to choose from. So that way we have a choice to look as skinny as a Jamal Crawford or as ripped as a LeBron James. And I'm not talking about thickness, like when you make your my player heavier. I'm talking about actual muscle tone. If you go back to NBA 2K12 and 13, your my player had a lot of muscle tone. What happened to that? Karl Anthony Towns, as you can see, I tried my best to match the new 2K19 picture. And as I mentioned in the previous video, I did get professionally face scanned into the game, so I will be running around the neighborhood with a verified player. But they did have me do a whole lot of crazy expressions. And as you can see on the left, Karl Anthony Towns is screaming, but his eyes aren't as closed as they are in 2K19. And that little factor brings a lot more realism to the gaming experience. A lot of guys complain that 2K doesn't release a lot of information and NBA Live is winning the battle. This is the case every single year. And I'll sit back and laugh because this is how it's been since 2K8 going into 2K9. 2K only releases information the month before it releases. And every single week you get a tremendous amount of information in the month prior to its release. So this is it. We're in August. And the first thing you're going to learn about is my GM mode, probably some sound and audio graphics updates. Then you're going to see my team mode. Then the minor features like controls and new jump shots and dunk animations. Then they're going to release my career information. And this is all going to lead up to the annual 2K event where they'll release the neighborhood and the park information. And from whatever we see, whether or not we get hype about it, there's no way to predict microtransactions. If there's enough parks in the game, they never show you all the parks at these reveal events. And you have no idea how the community is gonna utilize cheese to break the game throughout the year. That's all gonna fall on 2K and their ability to update, fix things, and adhere to the community throughout the year. We just have to love ball enough to kind of power through it all. And that's me, man. Like, I love basketball. It's my #1 sport. I'm gonna be playing it regardless. I go through all the cheese. I've been doing this since 2K11, regardless of what people do. And I try to have as much fun as I can with it. And we do our best throughout the year to relay that information to the devs to see if they can help improve our experience. So in closing, in my opinion, I do think the graphics look a little bit better. I did actually play the game, but this all could just be a lighting and shading thing. So let me know in the comment section how you feel. Is it just a lighting and shading thing, or do you think the graphics are better? The majority of us haven't actually seen full HD gameplay just yet. And when they drop some trailers, we might be able to tell, but we really won't be able to tell until we actually have the game. So it's your boy Shake. As always, smack that like button to show your support. Subscribe if you're new to my channel. Click that bell up top. Turn on those notifications to get this news when it drops. And I'll see you in the next one.